What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, back MovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm reacting to the BAFTA nominations. I'm not telling you what the BAFTA nominations are, I just have some thoughts on how these affect Oscars. Just sort of a little bit of an explanation about some of these things, where we stand, who's looking good in the neighborhood, who might surprise. Because now we're pretty much done. Between now and Oscar nomination, there isn't really anything else that's going to change or shake up anything. Oscar voting is already, if it's not over, I think everything got extended. It would have been over, but I believe they extended the voting period because of the LA fires. So I do think they're still voting. I think they saw the BAFTA nominations, and I think seeing that matters. So if they're on the fence about a performance, if there's a movie they still needed to watch, something like that, and they have a screener of it and they're at home or whatever, maybe an Oscar voter could be swayed slightly by these nominations. But these also, BAFTAs and SAG both have voting overlaps, as do most of the other craft guilds, which is why people pay attention to them. Golden Globes are just sort of like an interesting opportunity for people to be able to present themselves, as our Critics' Choice. Now, we were supposed to have a Critics' Choice ceremony, so Critics' Choice would become less important because really you just have nominations. But by now we would have had the Critics' Choice speeches, and the people who won would have had an opportunity. So we would have somebody other than the people who won at Golden Globes, perhaps, giving great speeches and people being tremendously moved by them. So you just sort of have Golden Globe winners making speeches. So the takeaway from the BAFTAs, for me, a couple of them, are that the substance is stronger than initially I think anybody really thought coming into Oscar season, especially considering that movies releasing it. I think when you realize the fact that it doesn't have a major distributor behind it, and yet it's poised to get a picture nomination, it could an actress nomination. It's very likely to get director, screenplay. It should be able to get makeup. It could get 5 nominations for movie. You know, that's big, considering we're also sitting in the same place with Bleecker Street, wondering if Bleecker Street can just get Marion Jean-Baptiste to an actress nomination. Distributors matter. And the same thing could be said for Roadside Attractions with Pamela Anderson and Last Showgirl. Like, movie, for some reason, has a major contender. So, and that was held up here by the fact that The Substance, which did not get a Best Picture nomination, still managed to get into director, actress, screenplay, and makeup. So it got in. It did pretty well for itself. Margaret Qualley didn't get the nomination, but supporting actress has always just been like a floating group of people where it's like pick 3 that are not Zoe Saldana and Ariana Grande. The Last Showgirl is a little bit stronger. It has gained strength. It also helps that its release was right now. So Jamie Lee Curtis scored a surprising supporting actress nomination at the BAFTAs for The Last Showgirl, without Pamela Anderson, and getting a nomination. So that's big for her. She now has SAG and BAFTA. She has the 2 overlapping bodies. So for people who wrote her off and thought she was just kind of like a joke, not anymore. She has the 2 overlapping bodies that have both voted for her. There's a solid chance that she'll end up at the Oscars, and she can't be discounted. Also, Selena Gomez getting in at BAFTA proves once again that this movie has strong international support. We lost Daniel Craig at BAFTA, which is a huge deal. He's British, and he lost out to Sebastian Stan, who's not. They had 6 spots, and they didn't pick Daniel Craig for queer. So for people who think it was all shown up, that it was 5 nominations because SAG went with Daniel Craig, you're wrong. It is, that 5th spot is between Daniel Craig, Sebastian Stan, and Hugh Grant. One of those 5 is going to get the spot. Hugh Grant has never been nominated for an Academy Award. So I think that plays a huge factor here. When you look at him versus Daniel Craig, they both have been around for a while. Sebastian Stan, not so much, not as long. Americans also don't seem to be touching The Apprentice nearly as much as international audiences are. So I wouldn't be surprised there. Dune did not show up nearly as much at BAFTAs. I think Dune is. I wouldn't expect to see Denis in director. Dune is lucky to get a picture nomination right now. I think it's basically going to be below the line at this point. It didn't get a screenplay nomination either. Sing Sing showing up at BAFTAs is a big deal. Sing Sing traditionally does not nominate a whole lot of um, African American centered things. Not, but they have their own actresses. Like Marianne Jean-Baptiste and Cynthia Erivo are both British, so their inclusions here are not surprising. But like, Daniel Detweiler wasn't shortlisted. Denzel's not nominated. I mean, like some of these things do not surprise. But they did pick both Coleman Domingo and uh, also in supporting actor. I forgot his name. Uh, Fighting Cold. Anyway, yeah, both of them got nominations at BAFTA, which is surprising, considering Sing Sing, and also Sing Sing got a screenplay nom. So it ended up doing a little bit better than it has been doing. Clarence Macklin. Um, so I would watch out for Sing Sing, maybe having a little bit more to it. Nickel Boys really just kind of got a screenplay, you know. There's some things that you can look at the BAFTA and go, that's BAFTA only. Kneecap is not going to get 5 nominations or whatever. It's not going to get all the love that BAFTA just threw it at the Oscars. That's a British thing. Saoirse Ronan getting the 6th female spot, I don't think that revitalizes her chance at a nomination. I think if you're looking at that 5th place spot, there are a host of actresses now, from Fernanda Torres to Pamela Anderson to still like long shots in Angelina Jolie and Nicole Kidman, all sort of vying for the 5th place. Marianne Jean-Baptiste are all trying to get into the Best Actress race, which seems to be basically comfortably Mikey Madison, Cara Sofia Gascon, Cynthia Erivo, and Demi Moore. And then one of the others that I just mentioned. I don't think the nomination for Saoirse Ronan does anything for her for the outrun, considering how many other people are also vying for the same spot. So that's interesting. So there are like 3 guys for the final male spot, a bunch of guys for the final female spot. Complete Unknown is doing better once again, just like it did at SAG. It's a little bit stronger than people give it credit for. It's really not in the 9th or 10th spot anymore. It's higher up. It's not in danger of losing its Best Picture nomination. If anything, I would say Nickel Boys could. If anything was like sort of that's currently being projected, I would think Nickel Boys is probably in 10th place. Based on everything that I've seen recently, Nickel Boys just has had a really hard time picking up a lot of nominations. Remmel Ross is going to have a hard time getting into director at the Oscars. He did get a first-time feature director nomination at DGA, but this could be very limited to just picture and screenplay. It could be this year's Past Lives, or it could get knocked out and get nothing. So those are kind of my thoughts coming out of BAFTA. Nosferatu did really well for a film, so I expect to see Nosferatu show up in a few craft categories. It got a score nomination, which is lovely. That's my favorite score of the year, is Nosferatu. So I would love to see that end up in score. But yeah, that's it. So switch up your Oscar predictions. I'll do a longer video later, but those are my reactions to BAFTAs. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.